Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Great to see you. Did you enjoying the food, the sandwiches? And big round of applause, folks, for the preparation. Yeah, good afternoon, welcome, because this is now the more formal part of the programme. And once again, welcome to St Monica Trust Centenary Garden Party. Isn't it fabulous? It is 3 o'clock. My name's Steve Lefebvre, by the way. I'm a broadcaster, and I was delighted to be asked to come in and host the event. And I'm really honoured to do so. But there's also a bit of a personal reason as well, because my late mother-in-law was a resident here back in 2017. And she adored the place. The beautiful gardens, the architecture, the facilities, all of that. But most importantly, just the fact that everybody had a smile on their face, just the fact that everybody said hello and chatted, whether it's staff, whether it's carers, whether it's residents, everybody was just in together. And I think that sort of epitomises what St Monica Trust is all about. So today is a celebration for you, really, for the people who make St Monica Trust what it is. You're at the heart, of course, of the communities. It's your stories, it's your friendships, your daily contributions that make the organisation exactly what it is. Now, we're here to look back as well to 1925. Anybody remember that? When the first residents moved into St Monica Home of Rest. Now, it was built really on a dream. And it was built on a dream of Mary Monica Wills. And her dream was, back in 1911, to create a home for 5 or 6 missionary friends. Well, ladies and gentlemen, from those humble beginnings, look what it's grown into, this beautiful, diverse, thriving set of villages seen today, from Westbury Fields to Monica Wills House, from the Chocolate Quarter to Sandford Station, and of course, here at Coat Lane. Now, across these 5 sites, over 1,300 residents are supported by the incredible work of the supporters and of the staff and of the volunteers. And beyond the bricks and the mortar, of course, the Trust continues to support older people right across the region through the Charitable Foundation. And that helps with tackling isolation and also with funding new ideas in care and just generally making life so much better. So whether you are like us here in the marquee in Coat Lane or joining us on the big screens, we've got that latest technology here, haven't we? From another village, this is to celebrate you. Thank you for being part of the Trust's journey. And I think it's fair and right to say you are its present, but you are also very much its future. Now, this is the exciting bit. So fingers crossed, don't think you need to, but what we're going to do, if I can just go over to this side, grab a different microphone, because we're going to go around the various villages. We're going to see how they are celebrating today, just as you are here in the marquee. And where better to start, really, is how we're going to do that. If you look at your place settings, this is right across the 5 villages, you will see a St Monica Trust flag. Now, some of you have already been waving that very proudly for the last half hour or so. But for the others, as we go around the various villages, what we want you to do is, if you're able, just get that flag as high as you can and give it a great big wave. Now, on the count of 3, hang on, you're all far too eager, because we're going to start here at Coat Lane, the birthplace of St Monica Trust. Of course, 100 years ago, the whole thing started, and you know how beautiful this place is. So shall we go on a 3, 2, 1, and then you can wave, and then everybody else in the other villages can see the love. So 3, 2, 1, yes, yay! There we go, a very spontaneous cheer as well. That's fantastic. I'm not sure if the others are going to beat that. Let's see. Shall we? Let's try it out. Let's go to Sandford Station, of course, across the beautiful North Somerset countryside to Sandford, and peaceful setting, idyllic setting in many ways. They always bring on the charm. So let's go and see if we can get a big wave from Sandford. Where are they? There they are. Raise your flag, Sandford. Give us a big wave. Yay, big cheer. You can wave yours back at them, folks, if you want to. There we go. Look at that. What about the technology? Who needs the Eurovision Song Contest when we can do this, eh? We're moving on now to the Chocolate Quarter, which is brilliant, isn't it? Really is. I must say, I have to be completely impartial. but I do love my chocolate, and that building is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Full of life, full of creativity, full of great food, and full of wonderful people as well. So, by the way, I think they'll be watching from the foyer, won't they, in the restaurant? So anybody near the pizzeria, please save us a slice for later on. Let's cross them to the chocolate quarter, and let's see if we can get a big wave for those flags. Where are we? Can they hear us? There we are. I think we can see them. I'm not 100% sure they can see us or vice versa. There we go. That's it. We got there. We worked the energy, I think, passed across the airwaves. Well done. Now we're going to probably more closer to my home part of the town here, and that is to northwest Bristol and, of course, Westbury Fields. Everybody knows it. Beautiful, beautiful greenery, great community spirit. And what's the big selling point there? What's the big thing everybody knows? Exactly. The iconic cricket pitch right in the middle. It just makes for such a beautiful, beautiful setting. So let's cross over then to Westbury Fields, and let's see those flags thrust high. There they are. Big wave from Westbury Fields. Big cheer from here we are. Fantastic. And I think now that we're going to go, it's going so well, isn't it? Is that tempting fate? I don't know. Possibly is. Monica Will's house, right in the heart and the centre of the city, of course, in Bemmy. And this is about the rooftop views, isn't it? And about that great sense of urban energy. Fantastic place. Really lovely place as well. Let's see if the energy goes into waving those flags. So let's cross to Monica Will's house. There they are. They're started already. The flags are waving. Come on, give them a bit of greeting. What a wonderful sight. Well done. I tell you, I'm exhausted after that. I wasn't even waving any of the flags. So thank you all very much indeed. We are now going to get a word, or possibly two, I don't know. Let's find out from the president of St Monica Trust, Tim Ross. Give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Here he comes. Here's Tim.
Right, well, good afternoon. I'm afraid I'm the serious bit of the day. My job today is, as current president of St Monica Trust, is to welcome everyone on behalf of the Trust to this 100-year celebration of the opening of our very first care home here at Coat Lane in 1925, following on from a very successful service yesterday at the Cathedral, which was much enjoyed by everybody. Notably, I'd like to welcome this afternoon Bristol's Lord Lieutenant, Peaches Golding, and innumerable other important guests drawn from the counties of Bristol, Somerset, Gloucestershire and Wiltshire, who are joining our patrons, Sir David and Lady Wills, here in this marquee, together with past and present trustees, current Coat Lane residents and staff, volunteers, and many other supporters of the Trust. Thanks to the wonders of technology, which I was very scared about, but I wrote down here, fingers crossed, we are being joined on big screens by people attending just the same sort of parties simultaneously at our other care villages, at Westbury, Sandford, Bedminster and Keynsham, and by those also who are watching on screens in the care homes, and in some cases even in their own rooms. In 1924, Monica Wills wrote to the Lancet, advertising the imminent opening of the St Monica Home of Rest, founded by Monica and her late husband, Henry Herbert, known affectionately as Harry, to provide, I quote, for gentle folk who are members of the Church of England, suffering from certain chronic or incurable conditions, being in needy circumstances and having led honourable lives. Now, St Monica has always moved with the times, and our entry requirements are no longer quite so selective or restrictive, but the good intentions of the Wills family still shine through from those original words. 1925 was a year of achievement for the recently widowed Monica Wills. In one and the same year, she was made a Dame of the British Empire, and the doors of her groundbreaking care home were open for the first time. None of those present to see the Bishop of Calcutta open these extraordinary buildings here at Coat Lane are still with us today. And there can't be many people around who saw the Trust celebrate its Golden Jubilee in 1975, with a service in the Cathedral and a very similar garden party to this one, complete with a Royal Air Force band, on another rain-free June day, maybe actually not quite as good as today's. None of them could have foreseen, 100 years later, that St Monica would have grown into an organisation with 1,300 residents and 1,500 staff, providing accommodation and financial help to a wide range of people across the West Country. Harry and Monica had married in 1886. He was an engineer and a partner in the family tobacco firm. She came from a prominent arts family and was active in the Anglican Church. For their silver wedding anniversary in 1911, Harry presented Monica with a new rose garden at their Barley Wood estate outside Bristol. It was while exploring the new garden that Monica, standing beside a now famous sundial, first mentioned the idea of establishing a home for 5 or 6 of her missionary friends. The couple's plans were delayed by the First World War. Henry and Monica finally bought the old Coat House and 27 acres in 1919 as a site on which to build their rest home. But by then, their ideas had grown into something on a far grander scale. In 1922, they'd established a brand new charity with the following instructions for building, establishing and equipping a home and gardens, and for the provision of pensions and annuities for incurables, not being inmates. Quaint wording to our modern ears, but Harry lost no time in appointing George Oatley, who'd built the Wills Memorial Tower for the university, to design and build the stately buildings that we see here at Coat Lane today. Starting with the chapel, to which they moved their family's own Father Willis organ from Barley Wood. The main residential wings of Oatley House, with their 600 feet long corridors, were completed soon after, quickly followed by St Monica Court, built on the site of the original Coat House and designed to house all the nursing staff on site. The first 70 or so residents were drawn from, quote, the professional classes. Not all of them were elderly, but they were exclusively female, a requirement that continued right up until 1980. Bedrooms were shared until the 1950s, arranged in groups of 5, with each cluster having its own sitting and dining room. Much of the residents' time was spent in the chapel, with tea parties in the grounds, concerts and lectures, and outings to Weston-super-Mare. Sounds rather nice, actually, doesn't it? But St Monica, unfortunately, couldn't escape the Second World War. Blackout curtains had somehow to be found to cover those huge windows, and even they didn't stop incendiary bombs falling in the grounds, with one bouncing off the chapel roof. The lawns in front of Oatley House were dug up to become vegetable plots. The ground floor of St Monica Court became a temporary home for the merchant venturers when their own medieval hall was bombed out. Bristol's General Hospital took over a substantial part of the main building, and the Trust only narrowly escaped becoming part of the NHS in 1948. Post-war, social and economic changes affected the life and operation of the Trust. In a period of great change, it was fortunate that Monica and Harry had from the outset set up the Trust with a strong governance structure, eventually comprising 15 trustees drawn from the local community, a minority nominated by the Society of Merchant Venturers, and 3 nominated by the local bishops. It was also in a good financial position, with the founders having entrusted the merchant venturers with management of a significant endowment. Up to this point, none of the residents had been charged for accommodation. Those lucky enough to be selected to move in were simply invited to make whatever financial contribution they felt they could. Not bad. The Trust also was providing for people outside the care home, just as Monica Wills had wanted. At this time, up to 400 people living outside in their own homes were in receipt of annuity payments from the Trust. The availability of generous funding didn't provide the Trust with a great incentive to change, modernise or expand. Charging residents didn't in fact start until 1967, by which time a programme to upgrade the old-fashioned buildings was getting underway. Nursing staff no longer wanted to live in. St Monica Court was therefore converted into self-contained flats, with the last 20 finished just after the Jubilee celebrations, to be followed 10 years later by a further 60 at Westfield House, built on the paddock below the main house. In managing the endowment, the merchant venturers had, with great foresight, made astute purchases of many thousands of acres of agricultural land in the 1940s. And this paid off handsomely as demand for housing land expanded in the 1960s. By carefully balancing the remaining land holdings with some smart stock exchange investments, the merchants had been quietly building up a strong foundation from which the trust could move forward. With the potential of Coat Lane largely exhausted, the trustees decided in 2004 to embark on what turned out to be a 15-year journey of rapid expansion, at which point our other 4 care home villages, today equally important, joined the St Monica family. For those of you who've been listening to me and patiently watching on the big screens at Westbury Fields and Bedminster, Sandford and Keynsham, you may have been feeling that my speech had completely overlooked you. But you can now sigh a sigh of release. Your moment has come. Westbury Fields, hello, Westbury Fields, hello. This interesting financial model adopted for Westbury Fields was also taken up at Coat Lane. It was attractively grouped around, as we heard, a picturesque cricket pitch and an attractive blend of flats to rent and purchase with a care home at its heart. And simultaneously, the new Garden House nursing home was opened here at Coat Lane, enabling the main Oakley House building to be converted into flats. Onwards now to those of you watching from Monica Will's house. Built in Bedminster and opening just 2 years later, its interesting city centre setting was a big departure from the leafy surroundings here at Coat Lane and at Westbury Fields. With its successful mixture of owned and rented flats, it provided the Trust with a slightly different model for the community living theme the Trust was steadily developing. And then on to something completely different at Sandford in Somerset, opening in 2010. 3 cheers for everyone for watching at Sandford. This was the first Monica's village outside Bristol, built on the site of a former railway station, tucked prettily away in the lee of the Mendip Hills, with its own steam train and railway carriage, close to the seaside at Weston-super-Mare, adjacent to the old Strawberry Line, now a lovely country walk. St Monica's developing community living theme again incorporated a care home, including an even larger dementia unit than usual, at the centre of great facilities and an attractive mix of flats and maisonettes. The final piece in St Monica's expansion and the final expression of its growing focus on community living was the Chocolate Quarter, built and opened in 2016. Welcome to everyone from there. Built within the structure of the old Fry's chocolate factory, it offered an ingenious mixture of flats for sale, a care home, a commercial offices, a GP's practice, a preschool, and soon after opening, even a community sports centre, boasting a fine pavilion, together with over 20 acres of playing fields, tennis courts, and bowls club. From the beginning, the Chocolate Quarter has been much admired and visited by experts from all over the world, and it's now being widely imitated. The full St Monica set, as we know it now, was at last in place. So, where are we today? Well, we're looking forward to the future with a new sense of confidence. Our first new development for many years is nearing completion at the Chocolate Quarter, with 44 new flats for sale or rent to be finished this autumn. And plans are well advanced for the construction of a much-needed focal point and reception area here at Coat Lane, incorporating a welcoming coffee shop and offering light food. On top of this, we're also now looking for planning permission for a much bigger development at Westbury Fields, on land acquired a few years ago, bringing up to 75 additional flats and unifying the top and bottom of the village with some improved facilities, including a swimming pool, gym, restaurant and other services, all of which will follow the integrated community model developed at Chocolate Quarter. Looking even further ahead, the Trust is now starting to open its mind to ideas for a new care village, but only when a truly exceptional site becomes available. I've said a lot today about the Trust's work in providing comfortable homes for older people, as Monica Wills had always wanted. I have, however, said very little so far about the Trust's charitable giving beyond its own doors. You remember this was an equally important element in Dame Monica's vision for the Trust. And I'm pleased to report that this work is still going from strength to strength under the banner of our charitable foundation. In the 1980s, when the grant of annuities was gradually phased out, the scope of the financial support the Trust provided was gradually expanded to include a series of one-off grants to individuals. Our individual giving fund this year will give away £250,000 in small grants to needy individuals, together with £350,000 a year from our organisational giving fund, providing separate grants to local organisations working to support older people. This year, we've gone even further. Increased efficiency has enabled us to divert funds previously used to subsidise operations towards greater charitable giving. We're now committing a further £500,000 a year to a newly created Impact Alliance. This collaboration with up to 50 other local organisations across the region is going to be a joint endeavour to reduce the problems of loneliness across the region. Our existing charitable activities are already touching 5,000 people, and this new initiative will extend our reach even further. The Trust continues to evolve in other ways, moving with the times as ever. A dedicated team are looking hard at a range of innovations that will improve the ways in which the care industry looks after older people. And we're developing our own dedicated apprenticeship scheme to motivate and train younger people to work in the care industry and to provide them with the range of skills they need. Already this year we've enrolled our first 62 apprentices, and we're aiming for 100 by the end of the year and 200 by the end of the second year. In pursuing these initiatives, we are fortunate to have the wise counsel of present-day members of Harry and Monica's family. So too, the invaluable assistance of the merchant venturers in ensuring that the Trust continues to grow the wonderful financial endowment that the Wills family bestowed on us. Don't worry, I've nearly run out of steam. As I sit down, Peaches Golding will say a few words, and then we'll be encouraging more participation by all the care villages in this afternoon's celebrations. Each will be bearing a time capsule with contents of their choosing, to be opened by the successors in another 100 years' time. The broader Centenary celebrations will then carry on throughout the year with a number of other smaller events for residents and staff, including concerts in the Coat Lane Chapel, where the barleywood organ, recently reinstalled after a lengthy once-in-100 years refurbishment, will sing out again. All ending at Christmas with a light show here at Coat Lane and publication of a new history of the Trust, filling in all the gaps since the first history was published way back in 1991. It's inevitable that our anniversary celebrations look backwards into our rich past, but they also give us the chance to say a big thank you to all those generations of trustees, residents, volunteers, staff who have played their part in making the Trust what it is today. Thank you, wherever you are, for attending and for your continuing support for the Trust. 100 years is a very long time for any organisation to have survived and thrived. All those, past and present, can be very proud of what has been achieved. And we can all look to the future with every confidence that St Monica Trust will still be here, thriving and celebrating again in another 100 years' time and maybe beyond. Thank you.
Tim, thank you very, very much indeed. What an incredible history, isn't it, when you hear it spelt out like this? It just is an amazing history. And also a superb future ahead as well, sort of heading into the next 100 years. Tim mentioned that we've got a very honoured guest, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like you to give a great St Monica Trust welcome to His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Bristol, Peaches Golding, OBE.
Thank you all, and a very good afternoon. What a wonderful way to celebrate 100 years. The first thing I will say is I bring greetings from King Charles III on this important anniversary. And I would like to have the pleasure of just reflecting on those wonderful words from Tim. He told us a lot about the history, many things that I didn't know, and I bet you didn't know either. But one thing is for sure, the vision that Dame Monica had is absolutely amazing. Just thinking about the welfare and well-being of 5 of her missionary friends has led in 100 years to the establishment of 5 wonderful residences for people. And the important thing is not that you might be older than me, that you live here, but the important thing is everyone is so happy. And it is a real joy to walk among you and hear your stories, find out the people that you knew before you moved here, and also the new friends that you've made. Over those 100 years, there's been a lot of change. And that change has met the needs of residents. It's not just a place to sit and stay and be, you didn't call it incarcerated, but almost a word like that. Actually, you've got lots of activities and lots of stimulation, and those are the things that we all want as we grow older. So again, the ability of families and staff and volunteers and others to grow and change with the times, with the needs of the residents, with meeting the wishes of the residents is absolutely fantastic. So I'm really keen to know what's going to be in those time capsules, because I can imagine that in 100 years' time, when they're opened, no one will believe what a marvelous time we're having today. So, congratulations and thank you. St Monica Trust, you really, really know how to do it.
Peaches Golding, OBE, thank you very, very much indeed. It's been mentioned, hasn't it, that today is about looking forward, but also looking back, certainly. We've heard about the time capsules. Perhaps we should look a bit further into those, because they are quite incredible. And the way they came about, some residents from all across St Monica Trust villages have been helping to put them together. They hold memories, they hold messages, they hold thoughts and mementos that reflect where we are now, of course. Our lives, our thoughts, our values. So there's a little video that we'd like you to have a look at, which has been put together to encapsulate all of that, if you'll pardon the pun. So sit back and enjoy a special look, a little bit of history in the making. round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that just absolutely fantastic? There'll be more on that coming up very shortly in the afternoon. But I'd just like to say thank you to everybody. That ends the more formal part of the programme this afternoon. So thanks to everybody who's made this what it was and continues to do so throughout the year, of course. The residents, teams, the supporters, communities, everybody for making this celebration what it is today. From sunshine and strawberries to song and, capsules. It's just been a wonderful celebration. And here, if you want to raise your glass or your tea, is to the next 100 years. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you.